Bingo! All right, so we're recording. Hi, people. I pronounced it right. Oh, I did pronounce it right. Yeah. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Good evening and welcome everyone to our meditational satsang. It's wonderful to have you all here. Do we have anyone who's new this evening? I'm trying to look through the chat list. I think we do. We have a couple of new people here. So I will start out by saying that our meditational satsang, the way we do things is that this is a sacred space and resonance held in the utmost unconditional love and unconditional acceptance for where you are on the journey. Wherever you are is perfectly okay, and we unconditionally love you and unconditionally accept you right where you are, and free from judgment. We hold that space of satsang, and satsang means to sit in the truth. So we're sitting in the truth of who we really are. And that's wherever we are on the journey. And then we also sit in the truth, what the truth of Source is, the ultimate truth, which is love, Source, God, the Master Artist, whatever you so choose to call it. And so the way the evening works is that I usually bring through what is coming through in channel, usually on a particular topic that the Master Artist has given to me. And then from there we slip into a meditation. And then from there, we open it up to the satsang discourse or discussion portion of the evening, in which you can feel free to share whatever is coming through for you in your experience of what you experienced in meditation, or any questions you have spiritually that you wish to know the truth upon. And the wisdom of Source, then the Master Artist comes through and we sit in that truth. So that being the case, what was coming through interestingly enough, is there's been a series of things that have been going on and recurring since the whole Saturday situation of the Monsanto March. I'm sure most of you have heard about it in some form or fashion. And what was really coming through, I did a recent video on YouTube about it. If you have not seen it, I invite you to go to my YouTube page and to check it out. But in relation to that, something came to light having to do with balance, because a dear friend of mine was recording his YouTube video in response to my YouTube video and various things that I've written to him and said to him in comments on his YouTube page and whatnot, about how he still doesn't get it, that he feels that he has to speak the truth and drum the drum of, you know, certain things, having, whether it has to do with Monsanto or it has to do with, you know, feeling fear or feeling hurt or feeling anger or feeling pain or whatever. And so the wisdom that was coming through about that, having to do with balance, is that, and it's an understanding that it's totally okay if you are in that resonance of fear, or if you're in that resonance of warrior and that resonance of whatever is coming through you in the moment. It is okay to honor that. It's not about ever denying where you're at on the journey, because you want to be free from sticking your head in the sand. At the same moment, what is really key is to be free from getting stuck there. And I'm going to read to you one of the things that I responded to my dear friend just recently on his Facebook wall about this. It is in regards to Monsanto. However, this can be applied to any area of your life. So he was speaking about looking at things through rose-colored glasses. And so this was what my response to him was. It is free from being about being on guard. It's about what you choose to project in life. I choose to be free from being involved in such things having to do with the opposite. It's not about rose-colored glasses at all. It's simply being awareness and aware that such things exist. And in that awareness, in balance, simply choosing to be free from being in that programming cycle. Telling our truth, what's true for us, to reach the truth of love or Source, God, Spirit, is always part of the process, yes. And such as you are in that process. It is when we continually over and over again tell our truth, we then become the town crier and are then brainwashing ourselves, which is what the elite actually wants us to do. as they have done a good job in making it so that we do that to ourselves now. And to expand upon this for a minute, to take away from what I wrote to him for a second, just to expand upon this, it was when I was writing this to him, what was coming through was it reminded me, and you all probably can relate to this in some form or fashion. I remember when I was in school that the way they did it, and they still do it to a certain extent, is, constant repetition. Now, what they were having us do is constant repetition of things that were like nonsense that really don't have any value to our lives. Now, what if we applied that principle instead onto something that we want to create for our lives and putting that back into balance? And so one of the other things that was coming to me was related to that schooling situation. I remember as a child, whenever I, quote unquote, got in trouble, as it were, did something that, I wasn't supposed to do, what was I always called to do? I had to write it down on paper, or I had to go to the chalkboard and write 100 times, I will not do whatever it was, right? And so that was their means of programming us, and now we've gotten good at doing the same thing, in programming our own selves by beating the drum of what it is that the problem is all the time. And if we continue to beat the drum of the problem, then what ends up happening is we end up programming ourselves. And the elite is happy about that, because then they don't have to do the job for us, right? They don't have to do the job to us, quote unquote, not that anything's being done to us, but they don't have that responsibility because they've programmed us to do it for ourselves. And so what happens is you just keep going on this rat race and this rat race and this rat race over and over again. And so what I continued to write to him is that we, in doing that, which is what the elite wants, and they've done a good job of making it so that we do that to ourselves now, which prevents people from standing up and actually taking responsibility for their own life and, for example, growing their own food instead. So if you choose to continue to go down this cycle of repeating your story over and over again, like for instance, when we did the 1 Billion Rising Dance, as you all know, we could have repeated the story of, my story. My personal story is I was raped at 15. I was sexually abused by my former husband. I could repeat that to you guys over and over and over again and continually programming myself. Or I can take a stand and say, what am I going to, in balance, do about this? How am I going to live a life free from that? And so then you get off that rat scale, right, of going around in circles on that rat race. And you go through that, and this is what I wrote to him. You are to go through such and feel such and experience such indeed. If you feel that you need to feel that feeling of anger that, oh, you were raped, or oh, Monsanto's doing something wrong to me, or, oh, no GMOs, or oh, oh, no this, or whatever your story is, you will feel such and experience such. By all means do so, because that is where you are on the journey, and I honor that. You will continue to do that until and when you are done with that, when you've had enough of it, and that's what David Icke is basically saying, okay, we're saying we've had enough, no more of this. When you're ready to take the next step and see that what you're doing of that perpetual cycle over and over again is getting you nowhere, then in balance you will look at this perceived problem and then say, okay, what can I do to take responsibility in my own life and to change this situation? So it's not about being in denial about it. You acknowledge that that happened or that is happening, and then you create something new and coming from a space of balance. And there was a comment that was posted by another friend of mine after this in which she was talking about the way showers. And so I continued further to say that the way showers are the ones who do just that, show the way, not beat the drum of what is. They show the way out of and through to the other side. And I equate this to another comment that I posted onto another Facebook friend's wall who was responding to my video as well. What it is it's about when you've risen above something, it's not about chastising the people below you at all, nor is my video about that. nor is the article I wrote about that. It's really a means of saying, hey guys, I'm up here now, not that I'm better than you. I've just risen to this point. I've gotten up to this point in the mountain. And here, you can be at this point in the mountain too. And I'm offering a hand to you that says, hey, take my hand and I will lift you up. I will lift you up the mountain. And here's how I see that Spirit has given to me, the Master Artist has given to me to help lift you up the mountain. That's what a way shower does. That's what a wayseer does. If any of you know the Wayseer's Manifesto, I invite you to check that out, because it's kind of like, here's to the crazy people, right? Because we are the wayseers. We are the wayshowers. We bring that hand so that help you up and lift you up to that resonance. Not that we're any better, or if we've gotten something better, or we're above you and you're below. No, that's all elitist stuff. That's what the elites do. The elites seek to dumb us down and say, okay, you're down below us, and, you need to look up to us and that kind of thing. No. That's free from being where I'm at all, where I resonate at all. I'm offering that hand to you to say, hey, this is the resonance that I've come to, and here's the way that I can help uplift you. Are you willing to take my hand? If you're not, and you want to stay on that race, I honor your journey. It's wonderful. You are. Eventually, all roads lead to home, which is what I concluded with. When you're ready for those next steps, then you will take the hand, and you will be in upliftment and see who you really are. And so tonight, as we go into our meditation and balance, I'm going to invite you to take something that's in your life that you have been on that wheel of the rat race of. And we're going to transform it in meditation and shift it into something of beauty. Shift it into that next level of resonance, that if you are ready to take my hand, and I will guide you in that. So I'm going to invite you now to close your eyes. And we're going to just simply focus on our breath. Focus on that sacred resonance and sacred space of your breath, just feeling it going in and out. In appreciation for the beauty of the breath, the beauty of the life breathing through you. And as you're focusing on your breath, touch into your heart center, in whatever way that means for you. Feel that resonance of your heartbeat, that feeling of love and calmness, the centeredness of the heart. However that feels. And if you can possibly hear the wind that is coming through right now. We have winds of change that are blowing. And we are going to be those winds of change as you center into your heart center. Feeling that beauty of love in who you are. Feel that radiating light that is glowing in your heart center. That inner knowing, that intuition. Visualize this light in your heart center, whatever color you choose. Feel what that light is all about for you. Feel its resonance, its vibration. Feel its vibration. Feel the vibration of your heart. Feel yourself taking a nice, slow, deep breath. And the light of this heart chakra energy, as it goes down through your entire being, all the way to your feet, bringing you a sense of peace, sense of calmness, sense of being the light of who you are. And then allow this light, whatever color it still is, or even if it's transformed color, let this light now flow up through you, through each of your chakras, cleansing and releasing, bringing a sense of balance to you. Coming up to your heart chakra once more. And then moving up to your throat chakra. Voice of truth. Your truth and the truth of God. Master artist. Cleansing and clearing anything out of your throat chakra that keeps you from being that truth and speaking and sharing that truth. Feel that light going up to your third eye now, activating right seeing, opening the multidimensional portal of your being, the awareness, the consciousness of who you really are. Feel this light tingling your third eye that activates the sacred center, radiating the light so that you see. Feel this light all the way up through your crown chakra, flowing out your connection with the divine, the source energy within you. Feeling the Master Artist's wisdom coming through you, as you, for you are now a clear channel, now and always, in all ways. And in this resonance, visualize something that you have been struggling with in your life that appears to be imbalanced. Could be someone you're connected with, could be a situation, something that you've been continuously beating the drum about that no longer serves you, that you wish to release and take to the next level. Just bring it into your awareness, free from judging it, just notice it's there. And take this person or situation And visualize yourself, your higher self, your soul essence, the one who knows with that inner knowing, standing on the mountain. And on this mountain, you can see clearly everything. Nature for kilometers and kilometers. Wondrous beauty. You can see into multi-dimensions on this mountain. And see this situation down there at the bottom of the mountain. As you look down in the valley, and imagine this situation or person on some sort of an instrument that you can pull up the mountain with ease, very effortless. In an upliftment, uplift this person or this situation by asking the question, what is the Master Artist's big idea for my life regarding this? Who can I be? What can I do to transform this, to bring it into a resonance of love? Allow the Master Artist to give you this answer. Just allow it to flow through you. And as you're taking and uplifting this person or situation up the mountain to be with you, visualize it transforming into this beautiful, brilliant light of a new way of being, of a new right action to take and right seeing to behold. Releasing the old way of being, and coming from the valley of the old way into the new as you rise and uplifting yourself. And now see this situation or this person at the top of the mountain with you. Viewing the vast beauty of infinite possibilities. And as you look out in the beautiful nature, enraptured by the beauty and the love that fills your being, take the hand of this person or this situation that you have encased in this beautiful light. And notice that there's a portal before you. This is a portal to another dimension. another reality that you're going to choose to experience right here and right now. Fully balanced. Walk through this portal and just be in the experience of what there is for you to experience in this dimension as we be in the silence. The wind carry you. And as you're enjoying your journey in this new dimension, experiencing whatever you're to experience, you're going to take your right hand, take your index finger and your thumb, and just gently squeeze them together as you continue to focus on your experience of this multidimension. Just gently squeeze your finger, index finger, and your thumb together. And each time you squeeze your thumb and your index finger together, you enjoy more and more of this multidimension that you're in. Enjoying the peace and the calmness, the journey, anchoring it into you. Creating the vision of this new reality, this new dimension that you can visit anytime you choose by just simply pressing your hand, your finger, your index finger, and your thumb together. Will bring you back to this dimension anytime you choose. Release your finger and thumb now. And notice before you, wherever you are in this dimension, that there is a red door. Walk over to the red door. Place your hand on the handle of the door. And turn and look back at this beautiful dimension. And say, I will be back. Now open this door and walk through the door. And as you walk through the door, you will feel the ground beneath you, grounding you into Mother Earth. Starting to feel yourself anchoring back here in this dimension of this earth. Calm and centered, peaceful and relaxed, as the winds of change bring you back. Taking yourself a nice, slow, deep breath. Releasing and bringing yourself back more here. Feeling yourself more in the room that you're in, your surroundings. More and more awake and aware, back in this dimension. And when you feel you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back more fully and more awake, back in this dimension with us. Oh, how beautiful. Welcome back, beautiful loved ones, beautiful souls of love and light, dearest friends. Coming back more fully now. Back into your bodies, and we will open it up now for the satsang discourse or discussion portion of the evening, in which you can feel free to share your experience of this meditation or any spiritual questions that you may have, any questions at all. That you have to share, held in the utmost unconditional love and unconditional acceptance for where you are, wherever you are on the journey. Eli said that was amazing, indeed. It may have been even more amazing the fact that you were in water in the bathtub, eh? Carlos said that was wonderful, indeed. Eli said that's right with a smiley face. Yes, totally. It's enhanced by being in the water, so there you go. You just dried off as I was finishing. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, amplification of meditation you can do in the water too, either in the bathtub or any of that nature. It's amplified by being the essence of water, because water is who we are, eh? We are 90, estimates between 70 and 90% of water, and we are also sea salt, so there you go. Carolina says, the energies were great, but I didn't see, feel, hear anything past the portal part. Big blank, what gives? Okay, that's good. No, that's actually good. Because what happened was, you went into the void. Okay, it's what is known as going into the void or going into the vast nothingness or nothingness, which is who we are. In essence, we are consciousness, and consciousness, awareness, nothingness is who we really are. And so a lot, LOL, you said a lot of the void for you. Yeah, exactly. So when you go into that void, that's where creation comes from, is when you start with the nothingness or the nothingness that you are. So that's actually a beautiful space to be in. In other words, you cleared the slate completely, and that's good because you're now a blank slate in which you can create anything you choose from. And so that's absolutely a beautiful space to be, resonance to be in. So that's awesome. Light said, same with me too, Carolina. Okay, so you both ended up in the void, and that's good. The void is that vacuum of consciousness that where all infinite creation comes from and is. So that's absolutely beautiful that you ended up there. That's awesome. And Melissa said, I walked through the red door alone, leaving the other person behind. Good. Good. That means you're leaving either that person or that aspect behind, whichever you so choose. Because all another person really is an aspect of you, of your divine consciousness. There's only one of us here in technicality, if you want to go to this core soul truth in sitting in the satsang of who we really are, is there's only one of us here. We are only one consciousness expressed in infinite consciousness, that we wear a facade or a body, if you will, of a facade, but the body is not who we are. And we understand, when we understand that, then we understand that anyone else is simply a mirror reflection of us and aspects of us that we see. So all of you who are on here are all aspects of me, and vice versa. I am an aspect of you, aspect of consciousness, us as consciousness expressing itself. And so when you're leaving that person behind, it may mean that in physicality on this dimension, you may be leaving that person behind, that relationship behind. You may be shifting into another level of consciousness to where you're no longer in physical communication with that person. It may also mean that you are leaving behind that aspect of you that you saw that person as in infinite consciousness as well, and rebirthing it into a new. So that's beautiful that you did that. Carol says, and from Maui, beautiful, welcome. Nice to see Hawaii here. Carol says, I am nothing or no thing, but the eternal I am. Nothing, no thing. I am committed to your commitment. Exactly. That's beautiful. Thank you. And the I am presence, you know, we've talked about this many times here in Meditational Satsang. The I am presence is very key, because whatever you place after that I am represents the expression of that infinite consciousness that we are and you are in this encased form. So I am is a very powerful statement. You know, I am financially abundant and wealthy. I am infinite vibrant health. I am in a beautiful loving relationship. I am with my twin soul. I am God essence. I am consciousness. I am, you know, the no thing of which everything is created. I am the eternal now. I am in the present moment. All of those I ams, anything that you place after the I am, is a statement of affirmation of who you are in the now, in the present moment of consciousness expressing itself as you. So, and as us all. So that is beautiful. And thank you for that, Carol. I appreciate that. Carolina says, so what does consciousness do on the higher planes? LOL, just chill in the stars. LOL. Consciousness just is. We are, as infinite consciousness, we just are. We just is. We just is, man. We just are. In the other infinite planes and realms of existence, of infinite consciousness, you could consider it from an earthly standpoint as like chilling out, in a sense. There is no doing, there is no action, there's just an infinite sense of being, of isness. And I talk about that in my near-death experience video on my YouTube page as well, because, you know, what's on the other side is just love. It's just that isness. It's just consciousness. And it's through that consciousness experiences and expresses itself through all of these infinite forms. And that's why we come here into physical form as consciousness, into physical form, to experience and express all of those things that we are unable to in spirit form as consciousness. Because consciousness itself has no direct experience of fear, or no direct experience of pain or hurt, or physical human love, or love expressing in all of its infinite forms, unless it has a vehicle or a body temple, or some sort of temple, whether it's a cat or a dog or a tree or the ground, or, you know, a building or whatever. So it's experiencing itself as consciousness. And so in the other realms, as it were, there's just this vast isness. And then it expresses itself in infinite ways. Carolina says, that's something I have trouble grasping. Yeah, you know, our human form that we have of this temple, of this shell, it has a hard time wrapping its human consciousness around it. But your soul always knows, and the consciousness of who you are always knows. And so me being that clear channel, that's why we sit in satsang, to illuminate that truth, you know, there's different variations of what we call the truth. Khalil Gibran has a beautiful saying in The Prophet, I believe, is that, say not I have found the truth, say I found a truth. And what he's referring to is that human consciousness form of the truth, in the sense of those truths are infinite, and there's so many truths. Now there's only one truth, which is love, which is God, which is consciousness. And that's the ultimate truth. And then within that are all those other truths, which are infinitely true too. But our consciousness, oftentimes in human form, as this vehicle, this body temple that we are, has a hard time sometimes, you know, understanding and equating the vastness of consciousness, because we're attempting to create something that's something so infinite and try to put it in a finite form, which is this vehicle. And our consciousness in human form doesn't always have the capability to grasp that. But if you reach out beyond that and rise beyond that into the consciousness of who you really are, being on that mountain, then you can actually grasp it, because your soul knows. Your soul always knows. The body does not need to understand what the soul celebrates in spirit and in soul already. It already and always is. Carolina says, so after death or ascension, you become a cloud of consciousness. It's not so much that you become it, you already are it. And see, that's kind of your paradox, if you will. You already are consciousness. You don't need to become anything in human form or in other form. Like the chair I'm looking at as I look into my place right now, it's consciousness already. It's consciousness expressing itself as a chair. Okay? You don't become a cloud of consciousness. It already is consciousness. It's choosing to express it. So, like for instance, when I say I am the princess, I'm the princess of the sea. I'm not saying that from a space of ego or from some identity or some archetype. I am saying that as I am God, I am source, I am the master artist, I am consciousness expressing itself as the princess. Okay, so that's the difference. When someone is coming from ego and saying, well, I'm the princess, that's you know, saying it in ego and identifying with the ego. And in that identification, if they lost that I am the princess ego, then they would feel like, oh my God, I'm nothing. Well, which in truth we are nothing. But there's that loss of ego, and in that loss of ego, the ego tries to grab on and say, oh my God, I'm nothing, right? And until it realizes that, yeah, I am nothing. I am no thing, from which all things come from. When you're saying I am the princess in consciousness, then it's actually the other way around. You're saying I am consciousness expressing itself as the princess in this now moment. or whatever it is that you're expressing yourself as. So there isn't an ego identification. It is who you are as consciousness expressing. And so when there's death, if you will, the physical form dies. We do not die. We are infinite. We are infinite expression. We are infinite consciousness. So the physical form itself will shed its body, and it will go back into the earth and regenerate itself again, just like a flower. When a flower essence dies, let's say in the wintertime, it goes dormant. It quote unquote dies, but it rebirths itself again in the spring, right? But its essence goes back into earth, but the soul essence of who it really is consciousness, never dies. Okay? So we never really die. That's just a perception that we have. Carolina says, being young, I've been afraid that after death there's just a void. That's why you're asking. Okay, there is that void, okay? But the void is free from being anything to be afraid of, nor is it being anything to be afraid of. Here, you experienced that void just now in that meditation. Were you in fear then? No, okay? When we die, what happens is that, again, we don't die. The physical form dies. You then become consciousness. And as consciousness, what occurs is for some souls, depending on where your soul's path and progression is, you will kind of go into this holding place that is kind of like a parallel dimension similar to this earth. So if you have anything that you're holding on to in that ego consciousness of identity that I was just referring to, you will then experience like a parallel earth, so to speak, of this, so that you can heal that and come to understand that, oh, this was just an experience that I chose, rather than holding on to the ego identification of, oh my God, I'm dead, or oh my God, I'm the void. And you know, if there's any fear or any healing or anything from this life that, you know, you didn't let go of, then you do in this place, and then you just immediately go through to the light after you do your life review. And your life review is not just a life review of this life. It's a life review of your soul's path, entire path, of all of your lives that you've experienced in all dimensions, in all parallel dimensions, in all parallel universes, in all lives you've had on this earth, in all lives you've had in whatever star cosmos you've been in. All of that is reviewed. And being in that holding pattern and going through your life review is actually instantaneous from a spiritual standpoint. However, for those who remain like earthbound spirits, from an earthly standpoint, it can appear to be years or months or weeks or, you know, for that transition to occur. But in spirit, it actually it's instantaneous. Okay, and then what happens is you go into the void, and what the void really is oftentimes we think of the void as this place of huge darkness, and there's this fear associated to that. And it's not. It's actually the combination of light and dark in this brilliant light that is so bright that encompasses both the darkness and the light as one, because there is no duality then. There's just oneness. And so the light and the dark are mixed together, for lack of a better human word. It's hard to describe in earthly human language. But the nearest I can describe it to you, that's what it is. And it's this light that's so bright. I mean, if you were to look at the sun directly on its brightest day, even though we could, you know, our physical eyes cannot do that without, you know, hurting the retina. But if you were to look at the sun on its brightest day directly, it's that bright and like times infinite. I can't even describe it. It's that bright. And that's that infinite resonance of consciousness. That's really what the void is. And from that, all infinite creation comes. And so then you have the option to be back with Source in that infinite consciousness with God, the Master Artist, or reincarnate here again on this earth if that's where your soul's path and progression is, or go to another dimension, or what have you, stay as a guide and guide other people on this earth. Wherever your soul's path is at that point, then you have your choice to create a new soul agreement with the Master Artist as your next path in its evolution of expressing itself as consciousness. So that's kind of how, from an earthly standpoint, that I can explain to you of how it works. This is going a lot more in depth than what I did in my near-death experience video, and so I'm glad I'm actually recording this. This is good. But that gives you a good explanation. Let's see, hold on, let me go up here. Light says, is there a form in the higher planes? No, it's formless. That which is infinite consciousness and which is truly real is formless, it's changeless, it has no beginning and it has no end. Okay, and that's why I said we don't die, because we are changeless, we are formless, we have no beginning, we have no end. As the infinite consciousness we are. Now the physical form has that birth-death cycle type thing, because that's what we choose here for this earth. Now in other dimensions, in other parallel dimensions, that's not the case. And it was not the case here, because originally when we first came here as ethereal beings, and then also in physical form in Lemuria of our first existence here on this earth, we lived in the same physical form for thousands of years. We didn't shed the body every 50 years or 100 years or what have you. We lived in the same form for thousands of years. And that's part of the elixir of life of the Philosopher's Stone and the alchemy and all of that process. In that. And so in the higher forms of consciousness, in the realm of consciousness that we are in, that resonance, no, it is changeless, it is formless, it has no end, and it has no beginning. And that truthfully is who we are to be in that void and in that infinite consciousness here on this earth. Is the ultimate experience, if you will, for this earth, is to not have to physically die, in the sense of, yeah, we die every day to the ego and we come back into oneness and consciousness and awareness in each moment. And so in that we are constantly going back into the void and experiencing the void and what it feels like here in this physical form, as opposed to having to shed the physical form to go back to consciousness. So that's, if you want to talk about the ultimate earthly experience, that's really what it is. Carol says, your memory holds to where love has been. Beyond your human illusion, nothing exists but love. Exactly, exactly. And actually, it's not even a memory. Memory itself is a function of the earth resonance. In consciousness, it just is. Okay, it's just, again, it's just consciousness. It's just that isness, for lack of another human word at this moment, because again, our English language is so limited in human form to express this. So it's not really a memory, it's an isness. We translate that in human form here as a memory. And so it's our means of being able to access, if you will, that isness through something called memory. So Carol then says, death is the doorway that does not close. Birth will use it next to return you to your world. Yeah, exactly. Again, that death cycle is something that's here, for this earth. But in the infinite realms of consciousness and back, what we call also is the other side, as it were, the other side of the veil, or the spirit realm, it's also called. There is no birth and death process. It just is. It's just consciousness. Eli says, and yet Judaism, memory is the utmost importance. Well, you're correct. In Judaism, it is, because from an earthly context, in human form, in this body temple that we're in, memory is utmost importance as a means to access the consciousness that we are, to be able to remember, and that's what memory is, the remembering, the coming back into memory of who we really are. So in that essence, it is of the utmost importance. Now, in duality of this earthly form, there's a flip side, and we talked about this, I think, last week or the week before about holding on to memories, how they can keep us from being here in the now moment. You want to be able to refer to that memory, yes, to evoke that sense of consciousness that we are, and that sense of love that we are. But the perpetual cycle, which again goes into what we talked about earlier at the beginning of satsang, the perpetual cycle of, programming yourself with quote unquote bad memories, as we call them, not that they're bad, but those are memories that, we repeat over and over again of our stories of, oh, I've been raped, or oh, so-and-so's hurt me, and oh, I'm not going to forgive them, or oh, Monsanto this, or oh, that, or whatever. When we keep repeating that over and over again as our story, those are those memories that we're being asked to shed so that we can come back into the memory of accessing the memory of that utmost importance that Judaism refers to, of the memory of consciousness. So that's truly what Judaism is talking about, actually. That's not what indoctrinational religion will tell you, but that's in essence what it really is. Carolina says, too bad, I really have to go. Oh, yes, it will take some time to wrap your head around this, love, indeed. You just sit with it, your soul knows. And as your soul knows, it will come into consciousness for you in physical form. Eli said, okay, wait a minute. Hold on, I'm trying to scroll up here. Give me a second. Eli said to uphold the integrity of this world and ultimately perfect it. The ultimate integrity of this world is that it's already perfect as it is. And seeing the perfection within the imperfection. Imperfection means I am perfection. And so the imperfections, as it were, are perfect. Simply as it is, this world is already perfect. Upholding the integrity means to uphold that is true already. All of it is designed and absolutely perfect. Carol says, the key to remembering is to remind the self not to be afraid of anything, anywhere, anytime, ever. Exactly, yes. And I refer to that in my most recent video about Monsanto, about coming into the Buddha energy, and we talked about that in satsang last week as well here. It's really not being affected. It's being aware and being conscious of, again, consciously aware that things like Monsanto are occurring, or things like rape are occurring, or children are starving every day, and people are dying every day. It's not to dip your head in the sand and, be in that river called the denial. It's not about that at all. What it is about is being aware and noticing. Aware means to know, to be aware of. But then it is to ask the question, who am I to be in this moment? What would love do now in this moment? What can I do to create a new reality that transforms that? And so that keeps us from being stuck in and being disturbed by those things. It's not that you don't have compassion for those things and those people. You do. You have great compassion and great love for what they are experiencing and what they are choosing to experience. And you have great compassion and love for yourself when you're in those moments, That's not to say that God doesn't get angry. It's not to say that Master Artist doesn't get angry. It's not to say that we're never to get angry, that we're never to experience fear, that we're not to tell the truth of the fear or hurt or pain or whatever that we're experiencing in the moment. Absolutely. But here's what the key is. And you look to the child for this. In the childlike essence, what does a child do? A child experiences their tantrum and then it's over. They get right pissed off, they get angry, they get fearful, they get mad, and they feel it full out in the moment. They're totally in the now, in the moment. And then it's gone. They release it. They do not hold on to it the way we do. And that's again talking about what this perpetual cycle of this rat race is. We hold on to Monsanto. We hold on to, rape. We hold on to children starving. And we perpetuate the cycle instead of being childlike and in awareness saying, oh yeah, I'm in awareness. I see that. I noticed that. Yeah, I do notice there's that child starving over there. Now, what am I going to choose to do about it? That's where you transcend it. That's where you rise above it. That's where you shift it. And then in your own life, you look at it and say, hey, you know what? I'm really pissed off right now. I'm really angry. Just to give you an example, my twin soul just recently did a beautiful video, which I totally honor him for. Our trees here in our homelands, just over the hill from me here in our sacred spaces where we meditate, he and I, that we love so much, our trees are being quote-unquote raped. They are taking down brand new trees. Okay, and they're little baby pine trees. I mean, they can't be more than a few years old, and forestry ministry just came right in and just chopped them all down, and he's right pissed off about it, and he's hurting, and he's in pain, and he's angry about it, and he did a video about it, and I'm proud of him for doing that, and for being in the moment of expressing that and saying, hey, you know, something's got to be done about this. And at the end of the video, he explained that we should have a tree planting and replant those trees. He wants the ministry to pay for it, and we all know if you fight the system, it's not going to happen, and if it's going to happen at all, the ministry's not going to pay for it. We the people need to take the responsibility in our own hands, get a gathering together, go out there and replant the trees. And great, that's what we do. That's how you rise above it. That's how you shift above it. Rather than, you know, feeling it. You do as a child. He had that moment and he said, damn it. He didn't say that in the video, but I'm saying it. You know, damn it, it sucks. And it does. It's heart-wrenching to go see those trees out there, right? But then you release it. You let it go and you say, okay, I was mad in that moment. I was angry. I was hurt that, you know, they're raping our land. They're hurting our land. But now what am I going to choose to do about it? I'm going to go out there tomorrow and I'm going to go plant a tree. That's how you shift above it. That's how you rise above it. And that's what children do. They feel that sense of anger, that no, I can't have that cookie, or I can't have that ice cream, or man, I have to go to bed, this sucks, you know, kind of thing. And then what, 2 minutes later, they're back into love, and they're back into joy and awe and wonder of life and imagination and going, oh, wow, what can I do with this? And how can I play with this? And how can I create this? And whatever. That's who we are to be. It is said in the Bible that to enter the kingdom of heaven is to be childlike. Childlike rather than childish. Childish is having the tantrum. And if you want to have the tantrum, great, by all means feel it. And then be childlike and come into the awe and the wonder. And Carol says, illusion cannot destroy reality. Can a shadow on the wall hurt you? Exactly. You got it, love. Amara says, when a person passes, as my father did last September, and pass into what we call heaven or the higher dimension, does not that being have a body of light? A kind of form? Yes, they do. And they do because that's how we perceive them. That's the filters that we perceive them through. Okay, so they are changeless and formless and back into consciousness, but part of their essence, part of their soul essence stays in that body of light so that they can come to us and be with us and experience us in that filter that we see them as. Now, we may see them as that body of light, or we may see them as who they were to us in this life, as your father was to you. So you may see his physical form of who he was, very similar to a few weeks back when I was doing the garden fair here in town, and my best friend's mom came to me. Her soul essence, part of her soul essence in being multidimensional, we can be in more than one place at one time. Okay, and so part of her soul essence is still in that being form, so that I could see her through the filter and recognize her signature, and I saw her plain as day as who she was in this life, you know, standing there pointing at me, at this woman, to get my attention, to be able to, you know, notice this woman who was going to be coming to me for a reading. And so, yes, they do embody that form. The next part of your question in inquiry is, and do you feel that they still are aware of what their family is experiencing here in the 3D? They are, and there, again, there's a couple of different levels of that. They are, from the standpoint of that light body form that I just described to you, they are aware in consciousness of what you are experiencing, and that you have these earthly experiences, but the consciousness, the true consciousness of who they are, again, just sees it as experience. They do not see it as pain. If you're experiencing pain, they do not see it as love and joy if you're experiencing it as that. They see it as, oh, Amara's having this experience, okay, and that fills their being with the essence of love, okay, but they do not experience it as love or joy or pain themselves because that's a human experience. So there you go. Eli says, have you seen the world today? Yes, I have seen the world today. It has a long way to go to physical perfection. Eli, I'm going to invite you to look through the eyes of the Master Artist. Okay? Imagine for a moment, and everyone can do this, okay? In this moment, take a moment and see through the eyes of the Master Artist. Imagine for the moment that you are the Master Artist of all creation, which you are this anyways, but imagine you are this being. And imagine that you are looking out at the earth, and you are seeing all of the infinite experiences of all that is being played out on the earth right now. And as that Master Artist, as God, as Spirit, you are sitting there saying, my creation is beautiful. My creation is perfect. Everyone is experiencing exactly what they're meant to experience for the choices that they made before they came here. David Icke said in his video, referencing the Matrix, what the Oracle says, you've already made the choice. You are here to come to understand why you made the choice. You made the choice to experience these things. Okay, why do parents, your question is, why do parents often give so much shame to their children? It's the programming that we've been programmed into. As a consciousness, we chose that to experience what it would be like. And as the Master Artist, if you're sitting there looking at the earth, you are sitting there with this awness going, wow, as consciousness, I chose as the Master Artist to choose this experience, to see what it would be like to experience this thing called shame, to experience this earthly thing called love, this earthly thing called joy, this earthly thing called pain. Because I, as the Master Artist, and I, as God, I, as Spirit, I, as Source, I don't have that experience because I'm just consciousness, and I'm just sitting here in this infiniteness. And I want to know what that experience is of all that is. And all that is means all that is. Joy, pain, suffering, shame, all of these experiences, what a tree feels like to grow a leaf, what a flower feels like to be that seed and to start to sprout, and what that essence of that first sprout feels like to come up through the ground. The Master Artist is sitting there going, oh my God, right? This is a beautiful creation. Okay, so when you see it through the eyes of the Master Artist, it's a completely different thing. You're seeing it from the context of an earthly thing, and that's great, and that's wonderful, and that's where you are. I invite you just to look at it from another perspective. Now, Carolina says, so confusing, LOL. Okay, really got to get going. Love you, Carolina. You're beautiful. Amara says, thank you, Nenari. This may seem like a silly, superficial question, but I don't intend it to be. Okay, let me first say there is never anything as a silly or superficial question. All questions, when we are sitting in satsang, you're sitting in the truth of who we are. Thus, all inquiry in discourse is set to bring you to the truth of who you are. So there is never any such thing as a silly or superficial question. So your question and inquiry is, but I know time does not exist in the fifth dimension and beyond. So a being there could note the future. Yes, this is true. So could someone who has passed give me the winning lottery numbers as I have asked in joking manner to my dad? LOL. Okay. No, it's not a superficial question, but I will call you to a deeper understanding in satsang of the truth of who you really are, which is this. Spirit and Source is not meant to, and the spirits that are in those realms and dimensions of what we call the other side or consciousness or source energy, they are not designed to interfere with our soul's path and progression. And if you had made a soul agreement to have those winning lottery numbers, you would have had them either through your father or through some other means already. Okay, the simple reason that you haven't had it either is A, it is not your soul agreement, or B, you have not reached that point in your soul agreement where it is to be granted. Okay. The other thing is that is something that is called chasing after the money. Even if you have the best intentions at heart of, if I win this lottery, I'm going to help humanity, I'm going to be a humanitarian, I'm going to help heal the world with this money as well as benefiting myself and helping myself. You may have the best intentions, but if your soul agreement is not to have that money, you will not have that winning lottery ticket. No matter how much you want it, no matter how much your best intentions are, it matters not. Okay? And for you to chase after the money in that sense is an earthly thing in that sense of superficiality. It's coming to understand the deeper meaning of who you really are, which is this. And the true satsang of it is this. In whatever means that you are looking for that monetary financial abundance for, whether it is to be a humanitarian, whether it is to help your own situation in your life, financially speaking, whatever, if you understand and know that the master artist, that source, always infinitely provides, and it may come through in another means other than what you are asking for in that lottery, you will receive it. You always do. Have you not always been taken care of? No matter what, source is always provided for you. It's oftentimes we have an attachment as to how that outcome is going to be, such as winning the lottery. Okay? When we let go of that and we come into the infinite knowing and understanding that source always provides, that it may come through in another way, then it comes through. Light says, at a younger age, I would always imagine different choices and experiences. Now that makes sense. Yeah, see, now everything that I shared with you makes sense in that light, because that indeed is exactly what it is. You were doing that as a child, and that's the childlike essence, and then we get indoctrinated with programming, as it were, and we lose that innocence, that awe, and that wonder, so to speak. It's done purposefully so that we can experience that other spectrum in duality of what it's like to be unconscious, as it were, or to not be awake, as we call it, an illusion of not being awake, and then to come to remember who we are. So Eli says, there is still so much pain emotionally in humanity. In my own human heart, it hurts, it aches, and until that is healed, humanity can never fully experience wholeness and love. Understand and know something, dear one, that within that pain that you are experiencing, and I know I experience moments of pain too. We all do. That's why we're here. Even those of us who are fully awakened, who are fully enlightened, just because you are fully awakened and enlightened does not mean that you do not experience pain. It does not mean that you do not experience fear. It does not mean that you are to somehow, do away with it if it comes to you. It is part of the humanity of who you are. And to understand it, that it is already healed, okay, that is part of the experience of wholeness and love, is to experience that pain. As long as you're here in this physical form, and as long as you're choosing to be on this physical earth, duality will always exist. You will always feel pain. You will always feel hurt. You will always feel love. You will always feel joy. You will always feel ecstatic bliss. It's what you choose to do with that and choose to be within that pain. Are you going to choose to be suffering in that pain, which suffering is optional, which is the story that you choose to create about that pain that you replay over and over and over again? Or are you going to choose to use that pain as a catalyst for your growth, as a catalyst to remember and be who you are, which is love, and to choose the loving thought and to choose the loving creation? And what's the greatest next big thing getting ready to birth through you, the greatest new idea of God's source coming through you? That's why the oracle in the matrix is saying, you have already made the choice. It is now that you're here to understand why you made the choice. So you're here to understand why you made that choice and to choose how you're going to experience that pain. Are you going to experience that pain and that hurt in your heart from a place of, oh my God, this totally sucks, and keep repeating that over and over again? Or are you going to say, my God, this really sucks, I feel the pain, and then I'm going to let it go and reach for that experience of what's birthing through me because of that pain? Look at all of the great leaders, people like Anne Frank. Anne Frank, if you read the story of Anne Frank, the diary of Anne Frank, she experienced horrendous things. But did she allow that hurt and pain to overcome her? No. She utilized it as a catalyst for amazing things in her life as a result of it. You can utilize that pain and that hurt as a catalyst for your transformation rather than delving down the rabbit hole of it. It's really, what rabbit hole do you choose to go? That's really what it is. Melissa says, for me, when I have let go of negative thoughts, behaviors, people, I am more at peace and able to see the beauty in this world. Yeah, exactly. When you let go of that and stop being on the hamster wheel or going down the rabbit hole of what I was just saying, you then are at peace and you do see the beauty in this world. And then you can also see the beauty even in the pain. You can see the beauty in the experience, because look at, just to refer back for a moment, Eli, to what I experienced in my own life. At 15, I was raped. I was raped by a man who offered me a ride home from work, who I worked with, because my parents could not give me a ride home, and he offered, and he pulled into, of all places, a church. There's a church on the corner of the street that I lived on. At the top of the corner, and just around the corner just a little bit, and could also be accessed by our cul-de-sac as well. And he pulled into this parking lot and proceeded to rape me. Now, all those years ago, okay, that happened. I could have held on to that for all these years, and Shadrach and I were talking about this just recently, and I am absolutely 100% positive that if I would have held on to that experience and pain as pain and hurt from what happened to me, both physically, emotionally, in all ways, I would have manifested cancer by now. I would have cancer right now if that were the case, but I did not. And one of the things that helped save my life in that sense is I came into Louise Hay's book of You Can Heal Your Life. That book literally changed my life. It helped my life. Why? Because I was able to inactivate what I'm saying to you here on a different level at that point, and came into forgiveness and letting go of those negative thoughts about this gentleman, because I found out that I wasn't the only one he did this to. Now, I didn't have the strength in me at that time in my life, as young as I was, to go and, have such a temper tantrum in the sense of going out and doing something legally, and I'm glad I didn't. But I utilized that pain and that hurt and experience to be who I am right now, sitting here with you, to share with you. I could not be who I am if it weren't for that experience. And I can say that with such affirmity now, because I took that pain and I took that hurt. And let me tell you, if I wanted to go back there, I could tell you physically how it hurt too. But I'm not going to go back there. In awareness right now, I'm aware of it. I'm not digging my head in the sand right now in this moment. I'm aware that I could go and do that. But I'm choosing to be free from it. And I'm utilizing it to be a catalyst for helping you to heal, for helping you to rise above that and utilize your hurt and pain that's in your heart right now as a catalyst for your next set of growth and what you can be and who you really are. Shadrach said, I got a download from the dream today. I must go to the vortex for decoding. Yes, I know. I got that in your message. Please go decode, and I will be interested to hear what you have to say about that tomorrow, love. Much love to you, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Love you. Carol says, I've got 2 favorite sayings. I'm happy to say I am hearing more and more. Choose love, not fear, and evolve by choice, not chance. Ah, I love it. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you, Carol. Awesome. I honor you. quite beautiful. Carol says, love Louise Hay. That book changed my life too. I still use it and refer to it, my energy medicine clients. Yes, absolutely. I utilize it too. I utilize the principles of it. You Can Heal Your Life, the movie, is on YouTube also, I believe, too, if you want to look it up, that she did several years back. And I utilize the principles from it in my life all the time. Continuously. Anytime something comes up, I'm in that place. I go into that place and I utilize my affirmations and shift that consciousness and those principles all the time. Light says, I have to go. It's late. See you all next time. Beautiful, wonderful satsang. Thank you, Light. Much love to you. Thank you for being with us tonight. You are beautiful. Carlos says, time for me to go. Bless you all. Awesome. Thank you for being here, Carlos from Canberra. I can say it now, Canberra. Canberra. I got it. Yay. Love you, Carlos, and thank you for being with us tonight. So we'll make this be the last call for the evening. Does anyone else have anything else that they would like to share? Any questions in inquiry, in discourse that you would like to ask? Please feel free to. Melissa says, I don't want to go, but guess it's time, LOL. Good night. Love to all. I know. There's always this longingness in the humanness that says, oh, I don't want to go either. Just know that you carry this wisdom and this love and this energy, that synergy that we've created and synchronicity that we've created. You carry it in your heart always, and we're always together vibrationally, energetically, spiritually. In heart, all you have to do is tune into your heart resonance, and you know that I'm there with you, and you know that we are all here together, all of us that are here tonight, and all of us who will see the recording. We're all together. Eli says, love you, Nenari, love to all. Love you too, Eli. Amara says, thank you to all. Namaste, love you. Love to you. Many infinite blessings. Thank you for being on here with me tonight, all of you from all over the globe, Brazil, Australia, the States. We had England as well, Scotland, even though you didn't speak out. You all were listening, and that's all right. Many times those who are in chat are not always ones who there are other ones who are listening that don't always respond, and that's okay too. But thank you all for being here, and we will be here next Tuesday evening. Same bat time, same bat channel, as we say, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern time, and for you in the other time zones, please feel free. Sorry, I don't know them all. I'm infinite consciousness expressing as the princess, but the princess in human form just does not know all the time zones. And I will say to you, be love now, for that is who you are, and you are infinite consciousness, infinite awareness. And always remember that and be that. Estado, namaste, and I love you all.